Masterclass Tempera is another paint we carry from the Russian brand Niva palette. It is a quality pigment suspended in PVA binder. What does that mean? Let's give it a test. It can be thinned with water, it dries very fast, and it's matte, meaning it's not shiny. It is also opaque with great covering power over the black paint and the gray paper. This is not the same tempera paint that we use in schools. By the way, it's tempera, not tempura. School tempera paints are very transparent. They don't have a lot of covering ability, and they are re-wettable even after they're dry. Blending is easy, but glazing and layering is impossible. Student tempera paints share a lot in common with gouache. They are quick drying with a matte finish, and they are re-wettable even after they're dry, so you can lift and move color to erase it. But artist tempera is not re-wettable. It will not lift with water after it's dry. Tempera paints differ in how much pigment they have in them. You'll notice that a student quality tempera does not cover as well as the artist quality tempera. School tempera and both student and artist gouaches are re-wettable, so when you paint over top of them, you will lift up the color underneath. And you can go back in and blend edges to make things disappear or make for softer, gradual tones. You can see the dark green is blending with the yellow ochre color underneath it to make a lighter green tone. The dry color mixed up with the wet color. Masterclass Artist Gouache will also reactivate, but you'll notice its main color is much more opaque. It will cover over the white, it will cover over the black, and it mixes brighter with the yellow ochre as well. Both the yellow and the green are brighter, richer colors. The mixed color is going to be a brighter, richer green. And again, even though the yellow is dry, when I mix the green up to it, I can blend and make that line disappear. I'm able to remove or disguise the hard edge. You can't do that in artist tempera. It dries permanent. It will not move with subsequent layers of paint. The Masterclass Tempera is good quality. Look how it covers brightly over the white, covers over the black. Adding more water will make it more transparent or see-through. And that dark green over the yellow will not mix it, will not re-wet it. You'll get no yellow mixing in with the green. It can only layer over top. So Masterclass Tempera is definitely waterproof when dry. You cannot blend or soften the edges. You can only paint over them. A close relative to acrylic paints, which are made with acrylic polymer, tempera paint is made with PVA, which is kind of like that glue sizing that we use to prepare a surface for oil painting. I think oil painters should consider sketching and underpainting with Masterclass Tempera rather than acrylics. Here's that lovely box set of Masterclass Gouache. Let's compare it to tempera. So it scoops out of a container. It's got the same kind of consistency. It is water-based. It is matte. It mixes colors well. However, it's re-soluble after it's dry, and that makes your painting process quite different. Both gouache and tempera are ideal if you are doing work for video or photographing. Sometimes the glare of watercolors or acrylics shows up awkward in your TikTok videos or in your Instagram photos, but gouache and tempera are matte. The colors always show up clear and easy to see. There's no worry of glare from your lights. Gouache allows you the freedom to work and rework. Unlike watercolors, where you can't necessarily paint over an area, with gouache you can paint over top and over top and over top in many layers. And you can add back white highlights whenever you need to. Both gouache and tempera are highly opaque. Their covering ability means you can work on colored paper and even black paper. And your colors will always show up, and you can always add in more highlights by adding white. The white has great covering power. Both gouache and tempera dry lighter. The color shift gets lighter as it dries. Did you see how I left a little bit of space, a little bit of the black underpainting show just at the edge of the pine cone before I painted the white area of the background? That kind of created a nice contrasting black edge. Paints that are resoluble when they are dry mean that you can let them dry on the palette and re-wet them later. It saves you on paint and helps with cleanup. Both Holbein gouache and Masterclass gouache are rewettable and reusable. Here you see Masterclass Tempera. I mean, you can clean the palette by scrubbing at it, but I'm not lifting any color that I can use for mixing. Synthetic brushes are best for gouache and tempera. Holbein Gold synthetic brushes in a flat size worked best. I rinse and wipe down my brushes between painting sessions and before I wash them at the end of the day. For more tips for cleaning brushes, visit the Paint Spot YouTube channel. Here is a recap of all the papers I used while testing tempera and gouache. The gray paper is Clairefontaine's Paint On series. It comes in craft and black and green and blue. SMLT makes these wonderful albums with black paper in them, great for quick studies. Nice stitched binding. Stonehenge Aqua is a black paper that is sized for watercolor, so it'll work great for gouache and tempera. And Canson makes these pre-cut illustration boards. They come in mixed media, Bristol, watercolor paper. All of them are good for these paints. So here's my recommendation. Acrylic painters who like fast-drying, water-based product, but want something that's a little bit more blendable, a little bit more forgiving, will love gouache. And oil painters that want a fast-drying, expressive paint to do sketches with in a sketchbook, or something they can take traveling, or something that they can do an underpainting with and then paint their oil painting on top, may like to give Masterclass Tempera a try.